The Morgan Report with David Morgan.
David Morgan with you with the weekly perspective for the week ending 31 May 2019. Well, the last day of May. My, how the year's going by, at least for me. So let's start, as I usually do, with the stock market. There is a threat, of course, of the Mexican tariffs, and that's pushing the global stock market lower. Most 200-day moving averages are being broken to the downside, and the automobile sector is being especially hard hit. There's an article out in one of the mainstream financial press about General Motors should basically call it quits. General Motors is one that's getting hit especially hard. And both the banks and oil energy stocks are being hit together. And this is indicative of the fact that oil prices seem to be selling off. So for weeks, I've been giving you updates that the stock market was going higher and higher. We had a Dow confirmation to the upside, and just a few weeks ago we had a Dow confirmation to the downside. The overall equity market basis, the Dow and the S&P 500 are basically in a confirmed downtrend at this point, and whether or not they follow through next month or not remains to be determined. And I am aware of the Bo Pony interview on the USA Watchdog by Greg Hunter, and I'm well aware that Bo believes that the stock market is due for a major correction starting in June. Time will tell. I'm not saying I agree or disagree. I'm just watching carefully and will report accordingly. I will add that if there is a stock market sell-off, this would actually put a bid under the gold market, maybe not day for day, but over a short period of time. If there is a large sell-off in the stock market, what happens to mining equities? Almost always the mining equities fall with the general equity market. However, they're the first to turn around. And since these stocks generally right now are so undervalued, so oversold, and so washed out, if there was a large decline in the stock market, I would expect to see a perhaps cursory go along with the equities in the mining sector. But I think it'd be not only short-lived, but rather minor. So if you're waiting for the big sell-off to re-enter the market or add your positions, it's probably a good strategy, but don't waste time, because if they do sympathize with the overall equity market, and they probably will, it won't be significant because they're already so oversold. And this week I'm just going to touch on some headlines only and not put up the actual articles. I want to get to a couple of conferences that myself will be speaking at, and David Smith as well. So Italian banks, these are headlines. Italian banks are at it again, shares recrushed. Canada Goose shares are cratering more than 25% on the luxury coat makers' weak sales outlook. GM merger with Ford looks more likely. Outside of Tesla, future EV sales in U.S. may be thin for most brands. U.S. dollar stores warn of tariffs hit after reporting upbeat sales. Uber reports record cash burn, $1 billion loss in first quarter as a public company. HSBC to cut hundreds of jobs by year end. Tesla to cut 6,000 jobs by end of financial year. CNN announces substantial job cuts at the London office. And let me correct, that wasn't Tesla with the 6,000 jobs. It was Tesla. It's an Australian telecom company. So let me straighten that out. On the energy front, some shale headlines. Only 10% of U.S. shale drillers have a positive cash flow. Another headline, shale drillers keep on falling into the same trap. U.S. oil prices up as flooding hits Cushing hub. U.S. crude futures gained about 1% Tuesday of this week due to the flooding through the Midwest, as oil prices, as I said earlier, are actually going down. At the end of the week, overall, it looks like the oil sector, energy sector, is probably having more pressure to the downside than the upside. It remains to be determined. Lots of information. That's both sides, in other words, with the Venezuela thing and what's going on in the Middle East. Guar was announced recently that they are over-reporting what their reserves are, and that's not a surprise to anyone such as myself that read Twilight in the Desert by Matthew Simmons so many years ago about his thesis that the Saudis were overstating what was in their reserves and what their ability to, meet the oil demand no matter how high it went. And of course, that's a fallacy. So it's an area that I'm writing about in energy stock profits, and certainly it's a sector that's very, very important. On the agricultural side or farming in China, apocalypse now. African swine fever has hit in China and certainly hurting their pork production. Study aims to show why some veterans go hungry. North Korea reports deadly pig disease. Goes along with what I said about China a moment ago. Corn futures gained 15% in May as soft commodities rally on the Midwest flooding. I've been saying for a while now, especially in the paid edition of the Morgan Report, pay attention to food prices. It hits everybody, affects everyone, and expect higher prices from this point going forward. And it's going to probably get a lot worse before it gets better. And this is one part of the economy that can't really be hidden by statistical studies from the federal governments at large. So it's something that will be in the news in the not too distant future. And I think I'll leave it at that and move on to the next topics. So first up, I will be speaking at the Red Pill Expo, June 7th through 9th in Hartford, Connecticut. If you are going to that show and you would like to meet me personally, please let me know. All you need to do is send an email to support@themorganreport.com. It'll be forwarded to me. Just put something in the subject line like Red Pill Expo. I'd like to see David or meet with David or something along those lines. And I will certainly get back to you and make it happen if at all possible. I'm not going to read you this whole website, but I attended the Red Pill last year in Spokane here where I'm domiciled, and it was very good. And I'm honored to be asked to speak this year. I'll be speaking on money, past, present, and future, talking primarily about moving toward a global monetary system, a cashless society, how that might look in the future, and what you can do to prepare and or resist it. Some of the keynotes, as you can see, of course, Ed Griffin, Robert Kiyosaki, Jack Bush, Dale Bigtree, and several others. It's a great conference. If you haven't signed up, I suggest you do, especially if you are in that area. And even if not, obviously you can fly in and attend. And finally, I will be on Fox Business Channel on Monday, early June, speaking about not silver, but the rare earth elements. This has been quite hot topic in the financial press of China basically holding the U.S. potentially hostage on rare earth elements. I'm here to speak, I don't know how long I'll get, but a brief update on the real truth about the rare earth elements, rare earths, and what the real story is. So if you're so inclined, you might want to tune in to Fox Business on Monday. And if not, you certainly probably find the replay on the web. Moving on, David Smith, who's worked with us for years, will be speaking at the Money Show in Seattle. I just returned from the Las Vegas one. This is June 15th and 16th at the Hyatt Regency. This will be put out on our mailing list. In fact, it's already been put out one time. We'll do it a few more times. You can attend the Money Show. It's actually a very good show, and it covers all aspects, really. It's not just a resource investment conference. It covers the equity markets in total, options, ETFs, that type of thing, basically the whole market at large. You can get free tickets by going to the website and or getting on our mailing list. David's presentation is called Your Second Chance in Digital Silver, Precious Metals, Mining Stocks, and E-Waste, the gold mining technology that starts today. It's Sunday, June 16th at 2:30, as you can see. Featured speakers you can read, and there's several reasons why you should attend, and I want to bring that to your attention. So I'll be speaking at the Red Pill. David will be there as well this next weekend, and then a couple of weeks after that, David will be speaking at the Seattle show. I will leave it at that. I just want to put in a plug for the Morgan Report that comes out this weekend. We are addressing the Hekla situation. We did put Hekla on the list recently, and of course there's been a huge sell-off recently. We don't shy away from it. It's not really a mistake. It's basically what the company said would take place, but yet everyone seems to be shocked by the announcement of the loss that they may be writing down. But if you just go back and study what they said when they made the acquisition, it's no real shock. Moving on, we talk about the general economy, which I do every month, and we do have some updates on every company. And we started to alphabetize these because we do cover a fair amount. We like a short list, but there's a short list of top tier, short list of mid tier, short list of speculative, and a short list of up-and-coming producers. So if you take 10 out of each of those lists, that's 40 stocks to cover. Anyway, we alphabetize it to make it easy because most of our paid members only buy maybe 3 in each sector. So 3 in the top tier, 3 in the mid tier, 3 speculations type of thing. So when it's alphabetized, it makes it much easier for you to read because we do go in pretty deeply after the quarterly results are posted to the public. So that'll be a wrap for this week. I'll be back with you next week, probably audio only because I will be in Hartford, Connecticut, and it's a little more difficult to do video from the road. Regardless, I'll try to do a verbal update for everyone. Remember, there's nothing more powerful than the truth. Hello, I'm David Morgan, publisher of the Morgan Report, and as some of you may already know, the Morgan Report is about money, metals, and mining. In fact, we cover all resources, from rare earth elements to precious metals. I've been publishing on the internet for about 20 years. My primary passion is to help people build and preserve their wealth. I love to make people millionaires. I've helped thousands of people via our research in the Morgan Report, which has thousands of paid members and 10 times that amount on our free weekly updates. Here's what you'll receive from our free newsletter: to-the-point webinars, weekly analysis of the financial markets, interviews and our conference schedule, special reports such as riches and resources, and various metals price forecasts. Our paid service client base is primarily small to medium-sized business owners, professionals in the industry, or the seasoned investor who understands markets and the value of precious metals. My area of expertise includes equity analysis throughout the resource sector, energy metals, base metals. We cover startups to billion-dollar corporations. We focus on a special sector that makes money regardless of price oscillations, and the importance of precious metals due to the ongoing currency devaluations. Our team of 3 analysts and support staff can help you build and protect your wealth. It's important for you to know what other people have said. We're passionate about what we do. High integrity and trust. Tell the truth and own it. If we're wrong, we admit it. Take a long-term outlook with major assets and bet a little to win a lot with speculative situations. If you choose to become a client, you will gain financial insights very few, even professionals, recognize. You'll understand the importance of honesty in our financial system. You'll understand how the money system influences almost everything in your life. You'll be prepared for the ongoing currency crisis. And finally, I've chosen to make my life's mission greater than the individual, which means my mission statement is to teach and empower people to understand the benefits of an honest monetary and financial system. It's been a great journey so far, and the best gains in this sector lie ahead over the next 3 to 5 years. I'm fortunate to have earned the status of being a leading authority in my field in helping others protect their wealth. You can email me at support@themorganreport.com or call my office at 480-325-0230.